What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kid Smooth back with another episode of Let's Talk Games podcast. And today we are talking about games and are they too expensive? But before we start, I do want to introduce some of the people here. You guys already know my right hand man, E-Rock8150. Please shout yourself out.
Yo, this is your boy E-Rock8150, the Don King of Xbox. Once again, back on the fastest growing podcast on YouTube. What's up?
And I want to welcome back Gaming Addicts. He's here with us. Still a little bit bitter that he lost the LTG podcast trivia last week, but he's here.
Didn't lose, was cheated. Let's keep going.
And we also got another member of the official WeGameHere.com. Shout out to Rise and Grind for joining us today.
Yo, what's good, people? It's your boy Rise. You already know.
And one person that I never actually had on a podcast before, and she helped me navigate through my PS4 when I first got it a little bit. So shout out to no other. Shout yourself out. Let them know.
Well, if y'all don't know, this your girl Crunker711 from YouTube, or you can just call me Crunk. It don't matter. But yeah, what's going on, people? How y'all doing?
And yeah, that's today's team. Also want to give a shout out to the We Game Here crew. The support is heavy. It's real. Loving it.
And I'm gonna give my website a shout out. Shittech.com. If any of y'all like gaming news oriented original articles and stuff like that, opinionated articles, head over there. We're an all-female website, so go check us out.
Nice. I gotta check that out myself. Check that out
myself. Check us out, bro.
Yeah, so you heard that. We're gonna make sure we get the link in the description or somewhere in the comment section. And hopefully we get another site, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of sites, that are out there that people don't know about. A lot of the big sites that we got are really too media based, and what we call them clickbait sites. So clickbait news and whatnot. But I'm definitely gonna check that out. But you guys see the name. Are we spending too much on video games? If you guys don't know, there's been a lot of backlash on Evolve's DLC. I think there's $130 worth of downloadable content. This is after you've paid the $63 for the video game, and then you have if you want the full complete experience, $130 is going to cost you for the game. Are we spending too much on video games? If so, why? Who wants to tackle this first?
I'll go first. I do think we are. I think we've gotten to a point where, prices go up, and for some reason games never go down in price. So I can understand the prices of games do go up. But, the whole thing with the Evolve, yeah, I did tackle this subject, and I got a lot of hate for it. Like, I'm not saying that what Evolve's doing is right, because it wasn't, Turtle Rock Studios. I'm saying is that it's like Turtle Rock Studios got the giant spotlight of it when it pretty much is done every year over and over again, and no one says nothing to them. I feel like from the beginning, people found reasons to hate on Evolve.
Okay, and Rise, what you feel about it? I know me and you, we had this conversation a bunch of times, but it wasn't really regarding DLC. It was just about we were just spending money on games every week, man. So what's your thoughts on this, man?
All right, so the Evolve, you talking about the Evolve DLC, right? Of course, the Evolve game plus.
Yeah, that's what kind of gave everybody the big eye on this.
It depends on the game for me. Like, I'm a big multiplayer gameplay player, so I think the presence of a good multiplayer kind of makes up for the game and the cost. As far as Evolve having like DLC prior to even people even getting their hands on the game, and allowing people to like start the game and then buy a DLC just to fully enjoy the game is just BS. Simple as that. But I understand that they out here trying to make money, but it's just BS. I think you put more into the actual game, you'll get more out of it in the end run.
And what about you, Jaleesa? Or Crunk, I'm sorry.
You can call me just my YouTube. These are crazy. I will not defend this because this is like outrageous. Like,
Hold on, you're going in and out. You going in and out.
Yeah, no one
I
was saying anything. I thought it was my internet connection because no one said anything about it.
Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't you hear me good now?
There you go.
Yes. Or if you got any apps or anything that's open in the background, just close them out. That might help.
All right. Can y'all hear me now? Good.
Yes, sound much better. Sound like 1080p.
All right. Okay, I think this is what they're doing. Instead of, because this is not like this is some unheard of practice where you don't get amounts of DLC, but the way they doing it is kind of effed up because, well, it's kind of effed up and then it's not in a sense because they're giving it all to you at one time instead of spreading it out like everybody else does. And I think that's what the problem is. It's all day one, and a lot of it is like cosmetics and stuff. And but the whole $132 thing just kind of hit people like, oh my god. But if they would have spread it out, it would have equal to be the same thing. If you kind of like see it in that sense. But I don't know, man. I just actually went and bought Evolve like 20 minutes ago. So I just went and bought it.
My biggest thing is I didn't even care about the cosmetics.
And this is the thing. I was a huge supporter of this game because I actually played it at PAX last year, where they actually showed it for the first time. They showed it last year at PAX 2014. And I was one of the few that got a chance to actually play it there, and I loved it. I did a actual impressions article on it and everything. And I was like, oh, Evolve is dope, but it's not for everybody. But the whole $132 kind of hit me in the face. Like, really? In like the 3 monsters, like that's what pissed me off. 3 monsters. Like, I don't know, man. The 3 monsters thing is to me more pissing off than the cosmetic shit. Like, I thought I was gonna get at least maybe eight monsters. They give you 3. What? I got mad hunters though. This is the thing. I got mad hunters, but you give me 3 monsters. You get what I'm saying? It makes no sense because like you get 4 hunters at the start of the game, but there's like classes where you get other hunters in those classes. So I'm like, okay, I got like at least 8 hunters at least that I know of. But why I got 3 monsters? That don't make no sense at all. Like, who's publishing the game? Is it 2K?
2K.
Yeah, 2K did that. I don't think Turtle Rock had anything to do with the whole holding back. That was all 2K right there.
Yeah, that's 2K want you to rush to buy digital sneakers so they won't sell out. Just saying.
Oh my soul.
And
yeah.
That sounds like some 2K shit right there. I can't even front. Like, that's 2K. Even though 2K15 is like my game, that's my go-to game. But yeah, they be nickel and diamond hoes. Like, that's straight 2K right there. I don't think Turtle Rock had anything to do with that. That was 2K telling them to hold this back, hold that back. But 3 monsters though, Turtle Rock, you gotta do better.
Like what Activision did with like Bungie on Destiny. You know what I mean? They're holding out content off the game, and releasing it as DLC.
What was worse, they was holding out story content.
Cover.
And your story was already bare bones as is. I still don't know who the main character is in the story. I'm lost. And I've been beat that game. I still don't know.
And E-Rock, what's your opinion on this? I don't know if you've been a fan of like season passes, but what about you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Me personally, man, I think it's outrageous. I mean, we kind of put up with it last generation because there were some games out there that, that say that you having to buy DLC, and the DLC made sense. Once again, if I can go back to 2008, 2009, to Rockstar Games' Grand Theft Auto 4. And,
that has some magnificent DLC.
Yeah, there are 2 downloadable chapters, the Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and the Damned. Those were like 2 entirely extra different games. You know, they help round out trilogy. They were worth it. You know,
Man, Ballad of Gay Tony could have been his game by itself.
Yeah, yeah. So
it was better than the main game.
we get to we get to this generation now, and you basically got these gamers releasing unfinished product. And what I mean by unfinished product is they've already deliberately cut the game up in chunks. This isn't like, say, Forza Motorsports 5 coming out 6 months later with a Long Beach track, and they give it to you for free. This is basically publishers saying, you know what, Microsoft and Sony already made you buy the console. You already bought the console for $400. You already bought the game for $60. Now we want more money. And it's like, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's I'm not buying it. I'm not going to buy it. I already paid you once for Killer Instinct. I'm not going to pay you for Season 3. You give me those characters. Evolve. I've seen Evolved. I played the beta. I wasn't impressed by it. You know, but that's just me. But like you telling me now that I got to pay you for 3 extra monsters? I already gave you my $60. So, you know, if gamers want to do something, instead of fighting and instead of arguing, instead of putting out videos about putting down your swords and your
just don't buy it.
Yeah, you just tell these publishers, you do not want this. You're not going to pay for this stuff anymore. Yeah, I'm not with it, man.
Damn sure not buying it. I bought the game, but I ain't buying that DLC. They can have that.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're taking the fact that gaming is our hobby and we love it. They're taking advantage of that. Like people have lives, man. Some of us have children. We have houses. We have bills. We have cars. We got school. We got, you know, we have other things taking our disposable income. So you go and you buy this game, Evolve, and now they're telling you, oh, if you want to play the full game, it's an extra $130. Like, dude, I'm gonna use that to buy 2 better games. I'm not even going. I ain't even gonna rock with you. But you know, I think it's outrageous, Kid Smooth. That's just my opinion, man.
Yeah, man. You know, I feel like there's where I want to see what game came out other than like an indie that didn't have DLC. I feel like there's DLC for games that don't absolutely need it. You know, I feel with DLC. I mean, I don't mind it. I'm not completely against it, depending on how they do it. But I feel like, you know, whatever happened, I was in the console podcast and I forgot who said it, but whatever happened to just unlocking things in video games, you know what I mean? Like whatever happened, like to that.
Yeah, 2K.
Yeah, I remember them saying that. What? That's a lost cause. Don't nobody want to unlock nothing no more. Everybody want everything at the start, and so they can. I don't know, man. I think it's for casuals, to be honest with you. For people who don't really have the time to game, who just want to get all the shit. So like that's just like saying buying Battlefield and buying all the guns.
Right.
Instead of you unlocking them like everybody else do. Basically. It's basically just a shortcut, man. But they're getting money, so that's how they're getting their extra money.
Call of Duty started it all. Like and don't get me wrong, I feel like Call of Duty is one of the games that actually does it right, though. Like, because the Call of Duty gives you, no matter what, you're going to start out with 15 maps. You're going to start out with a certain amount of, a bunch of varieties of guns. You're going to, you know, weapons and all that stuff. And then they come, you know, with the season pass. I know it's like you still get the choice of buying a season pass prior to the game actually finishing. But, you know, at least they give you, you know, the bare bones basic first. They make sure they complete the game before they actually give out DLC. And another game that does it, like Infamous. I mean, that First Light DLC, you know, is like a completely different game. But you know,
it is. And some people say it's actually better than Second Son because of the character. A lot of people say that.
I haven't started that one up yet, but I know I like Infamous Second Son in general. So
yeah, I mean, in my opinion, there's only a handful of games who actually have done DLC like perfectly, and I think it probably will be Borderlands 2. That like I got my money's worth out of that game. Like I bought the season pass and I didn't mind buying it. Battlefield 3. and like you were saying before, Grand Theft Auto 4. Those three games like did the DLC to me like the best out of anybody I might be missing some, but those are like my top three games that had like the DLC was on point and it was done right. And I felt like I got my money's worth, especially Borderlands 2.
Yeah, it's just all this. It's just outrageous now. I'm gonna go back in time on you guys. I'm gonna go back to 2003 to an original Xbox game called Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
There was no DLC with that game because DLC hadn't even started yet, and that game was over 30 hours of gameplay. You went to different planets within the Star Wars universe, and the more you played, you unlocked your Jedi Knight's power. You got new people as part of your crew, and that was a complete game. And they didn't ask you for anything. Once you paid your $60, you were done. And that was a great game. Like what happened to that? What happened to games like Soul Calibur for the Dreamcast, where you unlocked all the characters? The characters were in the game, extra artwork, a museum, extra weapons, and you unlocked that stuff. It was in the game. I think this DLC, I understand the money reasons behind it, but I mean, as gamers, we have to tell these studios, no, we're not paying for this no more.
I think it's the same thing. Like I work in the hospitality industry, and it's like the things with like alcohol. Like you come to the restaurant for the food, but then where they make their money up is by like selling you alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the DLC is. Like this is where they make up. Like if they take a loss, this is where they're gonna make their money up by is selling you DLC. But yeah, like you say, it gotta be a way to like complete the game before you actually, completely make the game. Give everybody, everything they need to play the game and enjoy it first, and then get them the options of buying DLC.
And like,
and the DLC kind of getting like over exaggerated. Like they trying to go to the extreme, I think, to see how far gamers are gonna go. I think that's what they doing.
well, well, I don't like being tested. You know what I mean? They got us like guinea pigs and whatnot, especially with my money. But before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Mona Lisa who just joined us. Please shout yourself out. I cannot speak English today.
Hi. No. Oh, sorry. Pretty gamer. How's everybody?
Good. What's going on?
Good. Sound like you just woke up.
Yeah, and I have a sore throat, so that doesn't help either.
So when we were talking, just to give you a quick recap, I don't even know if you got to watch any of it, but we were talking about games being too expensive, mainly Evolve's DLC. Did you buy Evolve?
Heck no.
Okay.
Go.
And do you buy
I heard
DLC?
about the DLC.
Do you buy DLC? Do you buy downloadable content?
Here and there, it depends on what it is and what they offer. But that DLC for Evolve, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but and other than like DLC, now there's been this. You know how games, the cost of games has been rising. I remember when games were $50. I'm pretty sure that at one point they were cheaper than that, but $50 I felt like was the sweet spot. And then when the Xbox 360 and the PS3 came out, they upped them another $10. And now we're entering the age of digital games, where we all kind of assumed that digital games would be cheaper due to the lack of packaging cost that you didn't have to pay. There's no casing, there's no manual, there's no printing of anything. So why are we still paying $60 if we're buying digital?
That would make sense, right?
That was my whole gripe about digital, which is why I'm not going digital, period, until I completely have to. I'm not a digital person. I buy every game physical, unless it's digital only, like Child of Light or Transistor or something like that. I can't buy in the store. But I like the fact that I can hold my game, I can touch it, it's mine. If I don't like it, I can take that bitch back
Yeah,
because let's be honest. Some
that's
games that we got, we're kind of pissed that we bought them, but we can't do nothing about them because they're digital and they're stuck on our system.
yeah, that's 90% of what you consider with digital. The fact that you can get your damn money back, at least some type of compensation for it. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
that's one thing. And then the second thing about it is, I feel like I want an incentive. Like, you want me to go digital? You want me to go digital? Why? Give me a reason why, other than it's easier. Because okay, it's easier. Oh well. Give me an incentive to go digital.
now,
I
one
want.
thing I do think they give us an incentive of going digital is because they do. I'm sorry, they both consoles does deals. You know,
I'm
uh,
sorry. I'm not paying $54. No, they need to be cheaper than that because I can go get $54 now.
that's true.
If you want me to go digital, at least give me 40, 30, or $40. I'd be fine paying for digital. I'll go completely digital for $40. But still, the game is still 60, 54. I think the cheapest I saw was like maybe 50 and some change. But that's still not enough for me to go to phase out Walmart or phase out Best Buy.
Now I see some like 50% and like deals here and there.
Those are like games that are. I'm
I
talking
think
about brand new games coming out. Those shits are still 60 unless you got a PC and you go on Steam
I
and you.
think what was that? What was the name of that game? Tip of my tongue. But it was like $30 and it just came out like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, like
That's,
see
that's
if a
games like
game is
that I
horrible,
buy digital.
What you said? What, Dragon Age
No, not Dragon Age.
or Far Cry?
Far Cry. Yeah, Far Cry
Okay.
4. It was just like $30 the other day.
Like,
it'll probably go back up though.
It would. Yeah.
I think it's going to end up, because it's pretty obvious they're not going to reduce the prices because physical media still outweighs digital. They're still making 60 in retails. Why would they lower the price in digital when they still make so much more money in retail? And I think if they would cave on something, I think they would give it, maybe when the game goes gold, they would give it to digital people first. I think that would be an incentive to go to digital. I mean, if you get to play a game like a week before it comes out on retail, I think a lot of people would go digital for that.
Yeah, that should be another incentive. You should be able to play games ahead of its retail date with by buying them digitally.
Because
Yeah,
I don't
the thing
think the
about
price is
digital
going
though,
down. I don't
yeah,
think the price is going down. It's never going to go
because what's the highest the prices have gotten game wise? Because I remember the N64 games were so freaking expensive. Them joints was high.
I
Oh
remember
yeah,
brand new games was like $50, $40, and then it was 50. I remember back in the day from
No,
brand
it
new
was
games.
higher than that, man. I think those games was like 80.
Yeah, she's right. The N64
Yeah, I'm
cartridge.
right. Like,
Oh yeah, the cartridges was more. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if I was like N64, them games was expensive. And I think I'm trying to think, what's the highest them joints got? Was like it had to be like $80.
$80.
Yeah, I'm like I was gonna say from 80 to, and I remember like PS1, PS2, there was like maybe what 50, maybe 40,
Try $34.
30, 30.
When,
Okay,
when the
well somewhere in there
yeah.
in that vicinity.
Yeah, when the Sega Dreamcast launched September 9th, 1999, the Sega Dreamcast was $200, and the highest you was going to pay for a game was $40. I know, folks, $40. Do the research. I know it's hard to believe, but so that's what
Yeah.
killed Nintendo 64 was the cartridges was just too expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember that. Yeah, I remember like, but the thing about Nintendo games is they never lose their value either. Man,
True.
it's some game, man. There's some games now. If you want them, their shit is like $100. Real talk. Them joints is like 6, 8 years old, 10 years old. Them games never lose their value. A Pokemon game will never go under $20. Never. Them joints is gonna stay $30, $40.
But gaming it's just gotten too expensive. Next generation gaming, well, this generation, the 8th generation or whatever they call it now, it's gotten too expensive, and you still have a lot of people, especially that have the Xbox 360, they're still stuck on that console because of expense, and a game like Evolve is not doing anything to remedy that. I mean, if you're still playing 360, other than playing your arcade games and using it as your legacy console like I do, I don't know why you're still on the 360. The 360 was an amazing console. I loved it for 8 years, but the 360 is dead to me. It's dead to me. I've moved on. But I can understand why some people are still on the fence. They still have the 360. They still have the PS3. You look at something like Evolve, and really the cost of the game is almost $200. And you're like, I don't want any parts of that. I might as well stay on my 360 and play last gen. So I mean, you game developers, you aren't helping yourself. You aren't helping your cause. The cause is supposed to be, back when I'm a little bit older than you guys. Back when I started gaming, the business model for Sega and Nintendo and 3DO and all these other guys, the business model was the Razor and Razor Blade business model. The video game console was the Razor. They gave you the Razor at a reduced price, so you would come back and buy the blades. The blades are the cartridges. The blades are the games. But you're making the blades too expensive now. $138. That's an expensive damn blade. So I mean, you got a lot of folks that are like, they're going to stay on last year's Razor. So the high cost of these games, you're actually preventing people from jumping the next generation. Like, why would you do that? Why would you kill the industry? Well, E-Rock, that's like 160 blades out there. I mean, there's 80 million PlayStations and 80 million 360s. So what? We're supposed to be on this generation now. We're supposed to be developing for this hardware. We're supposed to be pushing this envelope. So if we don't get those gamers to get off of those platforms, they're afraid to buy an Xbox One because the games are expensive. I mean, gaming is just screwed this generation. I mean, it's too expensive. It's too expensive.
To be fair, I don't really think. I think there are developers out there who do that intentionally, but I think the responsibility is mainly on the publisher. I do. I think the majority of these decisions are on the publisher. They're the reason for that.
True.
2K and Activision, man.
How many of you guys buy season passes? Because I heard with Evolve, there's a DLC pack that's not even a part of the season pass, and that was like one of the monsters, right?
It depends on the game, yo.
The hunters.
On the game.
I have never bought a season pass, like ever. I have never.
I have. That Borderlands 2 season pass was the truth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I bought a couple of season passes. I can name you other season passes.
I've never understood why people buy season passes before the game comes out. I feel like that's like, how they like combine the season pass with the game. And for some reason, I'm just like, why would you do that? It's like Destiny. A lot of people bought the season pass for the Xbox and realized half the content was cut. Well, if you would have just bought the standard game and then went back and bought the season pass and you realized the game was good, you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, there's some season passes like, all right, I used to never buy DLC until it came to games like that I was totally in love with, and games that I bought season passes for were, my first season pass was actually for Gears of War 2, and then Gears 3, Halo 4. Did I think I buy a season pass for that? I believe I bought the season pass for Titanfall as well. And then I think the last game I put, other than Titanfall, before Titanfall, the last game I bought a season pass for was Dead Rising 3 because they had it on for sale, like super cheap. So I ended up picking that up, and they had obviously one single player games when you get DLC for that, it's actually content that you can actually use. So, but yeah, some games I guarantee season passes for, which would be a Halo, a Gears of War game, a Titanfall game, or anything like that. Those would get season passes. But I don't understand why games like Assassin's Creed get a season pass. Why games like Rise Son of Rome got a season pass. It was just like strange because it was like some of these games, are not even worth a second playthrough. But I don't know. That's just how I look at it. Is like I don't understand why every game has a season pass or have like a guaranteed DLC. You know.
I think it's not even. It's like I said. My biggest issue with the Evolve thing is that the prices of the hunters and monsters are way too much. If you didn't pre-order Evolve, you're getting the fourth monster for $15. That's absurd. And I felt like they should have made it by tiers because the fourth tiers is coming in now, the fourth monster and the fourth hunters, and the entire fourth tier should have been $20. I thought that was a little bit more justifiable than charging individual hunters and then charging 15 just for the monster. The cosmetics didn't bother me at all. I was like, I don't care what color my race is. That doesn't bother me at all. It was just the prices of the individual monsters and hunters.
I think the only thing with skins doesn't make any sense, and skins shouldn't make sense at all in first-person shooters. If you only can see the gun. Now, I can understand buying another monster. The only way it makes sense to buy another monster, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, obviously, the monster obviously has to look different, and it has to have different abilities, that are like some abilities that you want to use, like, oh, this monster does this, and I'm sure they have it like that, but I can understand why adding a monster on there for sale, you know what I mean? But I don't know, but for character skins on first-person shooters, doesn't make any sense at all. If you're not going to see it, your friends may see it, but you won't.
If I remember correctly, I think it's weapon skins and it's monster skins. I don't think those individual.
But does it matter if your gun is blue or red, as long as it shoots,
I mean, Call of Duty does it with camos every year. I mean, people do.
Yeah, I don't buy them damn color guns. I think it's stupid. I think was it Gears of War? They gave you an option to unlock them guns, like the Golden Lancer and whatnot. Some of those things you were able to unlock, or they gave it after a while. They just gave it to you for free. Or I used to like what Gears of War used to do with those I remember on like Easter, your head turned into Easter bunnies and shit. And then like you shoot and it make funny sounds and whatnot. And like I think on like Christmas or the wintertime they've had snowmans and stuff like that. Didn't require any extra cash or anything like that. But I don't know. I think whether it be the developers or the publishers, they're getting a bit too greedy, and it's costing us. Think about it. All right, Rise. How much have you spent on video games in November alone?
Yo, there were like 5 games that came out at one time.
That's my biggest nag.
Yeah, I remember I was doing the math, and I was sending everybody month by month. I'm like, this is how much I'm spending in September. This is how much I'm spending in October. This is how much I'm spending in November. And then after November, I'm taking a break until like freaking spring.
Yo, man, you YouTubers, I've been watching you, especially Kid Smooth. You YouTubers are crazy. Me personally, like I said, I'm a little bit older than you guys. I'm just keeping it real. The most games I ever bought was in 2002 for PlayStation 2, and I bought less games in 2003. I bought less games in 2009. I bought less games in 2013 because it's like the quality. There's only a few really quality games to me that are coming out for the console that I want. What was that? That game?
No, man.
Shadow of
2015
Mordor
gonna be a hell of a year, man.
at face value, Like a lot of folks went out and bought like what was that, Shadow of Mordor? I mean, like me personally, if I'm gonna spend my $60, it's gotta be it's not like I'm biased, but it better be a heavy hitter, man. It better be like Halo 5.
Hey, you can't be dogging on Shadow Warrior. That was a great
You know
game.
what's funny about Shadow of Mordor? A lot of people bought it and they tried to force it in their head that it was Game of the Year, and I don't think everybody
No,
believed that. There's so many people trying to tell, oh, it's Game of the Year, oh, it's Game of the Year, because it was probably the best game that they played
No,
at that time. But Shadow of Mordor,
I
I still didn't buy it because people were saying it's Game of the Year, and then 3 weeks later, I'm looking down my friends list and nobody was still playing the game.
my
Well, but
exact
I mean,
words is
for
it's Game
me,
of the
I still,
Year. It's contender. Like I didn't think it was gonna get Game of the Year, but it was Game of the Year contender. I mean, look what came out in 2014. There wasn't a whole lot of competition.
I mean, in my opinion, the game that should have got Game of the Year, but I feel like just because it was on last generation, it probably didn't get consideration. But South Park, in my opinion, was my Game of the Year. That game was tough. I love
Yeah,
South Park. That was my shit.
that was a good game. That was a good
South
game. I
Park
didn't
was
even finish
dope,
that game.
man. I mean, people might not agree with me, but South Park was dope.
I was talking
That's
to
the
Anchor.
most I've laughed at a video game in a long ass time. I ain't
I
laughed
was
that hard
talking.
in a long time.
I was talking to Anchorman in a party, and we were talking about who's going to get Game of the Year. And I told him, I was like, it's probably going to get Dragon Age because anytime any kind of hardcore RPG comes out, it usually gets Game of the Year.
I mean, to me, I think it was South Park, and then after South Park, it was Far Cry 4. But that's just because I'm a huge Far Cry fan.
Yeah. Oh, that game won Shooter of the Year. I didn't think it was fair for Far Cry. They won an award, man. I was like, that was the most cop out choice. It was a cop out choice.
All right, kids.
No,
Stop
it was a cop out. I don't think what was so classic about it. Where it was Far Cry 4 was a
How much
must
of that game did you play?
a zero, and I
Let's
felt
move on. We're moving on.
I see no reason to buy. I see no reason to buy or play it. I played Far Cry 2. I played Far Cry 3, but I couldn't. Some games you have to be able to see, right? You should be able to go in the store. You should be able to see a preview and like, oh my god, I gotta try that. You know what I mean? And I don't think Far Cry 4 was that game. And I think people who bought it, they suckered themselves into it. Oh yeah, this game is really good, and then they really weren't that satisfied with it. It was probably boring. And I think Far Cry 4 was a cop out choice.
When it
Weren't
comes,
they giving that game away for like free and whatnot? Why did it go on sale so quick?
when
And
it
I'm not
comes,
saying that it's not a good game. I just think it was a cop out choice for like the shooter of the year. I think there were better shooters that came out that deserve its due. I still think that Titanfall was snubbed because I think Titanfall offered something. It brought something new to the genre. Like, you know what I mean? They added a new element. Now people may get on it for its lack of content. Well, if you pop the game in now, it's full of content. But Titanfall was one of those hype games like out of Watch Dogs, Destiny, and Titanfall was the one that actually gave on its promise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like you were saying, at the beginning it was all cool, but it wasn't no content. But now all of a sudden it's content. Like, where was this at the beginning? They should have waited if they didn't have the game ready.
the thing about it is,
I feel like you ain't get a full game if you played it at the beginning and you ain't have shit, and then all of a sudden the game is a full game now. That means you didn't have the content ready.
the thing about it is that I get really annoyed when people are like, "Oh, that game's gonna die down in a month," and I'm just thinking to myself, like, if you think about it, what game doesn't die down in a month? I mean, there's very few games you can play longer than a month.
True.
I mean, even Call of Duty, there's people hardcore playing that for a month, and then you see it die down. People still play it on your friends list. It wasn't near like it was on your friends list. So 40 people are playing, and a month into it, 10 people are playing. That means 40% of the people that were playing that just stopped.
Yeah, but I mean, but the thing is, Call of Duty games like Call of Duty and Battlefield have that longevity of just people playing. You know, Call of Duty just doesn't die down in a month. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying this is anything great, but it's not gonna. That's a game that doesn't die down in a month. Games like Call of Duty, Battlefield. Now, this Battlefield that might come out in a couple of weeks may die down in a month because it's not
No, I
the
think
greatest Battlefield ever at all.
I'm not
I don't want
gonna
to
get
play the
Hardline.
Battlefield for the multiplayer.
I'm not gonna get Hardline, but I do think that's gonna be one of the best-selling Battlefields out.
Really?
And it's because they went to that mixture. Because Battlefield, like, I'm not getting Hardline because I've always been a huge fan of what made Battlefield it. It was like more realistic combat, and with this, they went away from that a little bit. Like, I can go through there with the shotgun. Any of you played Hardline, you know the shotgun was completely busted. And I'm like, how did this get in the beta? Like, it had no recoil at all. And none of the games, pretty much, none of the guns had recoil. And it was like that mixture between Battlefield and Call of Duty, and that's going to sell.
Very true. But I also like the whole cops and robbers kind of aspect. I kind of like that. It's something different.
But to me, it didn't feel like a cops and robbers game. I just felt like, you know, it was just people in clothes, but the game was still Battlefield 4. You know what I mean?
I mean, you gotta look at the game too, because the game modes were fun. But I don't get why they put Conquest in there. I have no clue why they put that in there.
If they wouldn't have put it in there, they put it in there for the sake of getting the Battlefield fans. If they didn't put Conquest in that game, I guarantee a lot of Battlefield fans wouldn't have bought it. That and Rush are the two most played game modes, and Conquest is even more than that. And if they wouldn't have put Conquest in there, it would have been a wrap. They wouldn't have said that at all.
So, but speaking of cops and robbers, I haven't played this game since I bought it. Did GTA ever drop Heist?
No.
Let's not talk about that. Oh my God, let's not.
It's
next
come.
subject.
They drop details about it, and screenshots and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
More this time than we did before.
They drop details on that game every couple months. They're like, it's coming out in a couple months. It's coming out in a couple weeks. It's coming out next week. It's coming out Wednesday. It ain't out. We're almost a year, 2 months into this life cycle, and we still ain't seen that game?
I tell you this much: when it does drop, it better be the best fucking thing I have ever played in my life. Because we were supposed to get this a generation ago, and like they keep for some reason holding it off.
The thing that annoys me the most is if you talk badly about Hardline at all, you get Hardline about Rockstar at all. Like, I made a video on my YouTube channel that was pretty much like, I like how everyone goes and sitting there pretty much saying, let's sue Destiny for false advertising. And I'm like, that's exactly what Rockstar did, and everyone's just going to look the other way for them. I mean, their opening video, when they were explaining multiplayer, was you're going to have heists with your friends like they did on the storyline, and then people played the storyline, and they're like, well, this is going to be dropped with the online, and it never happened. And then they announced it again for multiplayer for the next gen, and then it never happened again. And if the game wouldn't have made so much damn money, it would be a little bit different story. But when a game makes that much money, and you can't give your fans the basic feature that you promised them from launch, then there's something wrong there.
This man Oladipo about to try to show out real quick.
He finally got it.
I didn't even see it. Now it just showed up right now. That shit's dope right there.
For those who's watching, oh yeah, you know what? Shout out to the people that are watching. You guys are much appreciated because you could have been doing anything. You could have been watching the NBA All-Star Game dunk contest and three-point contest, and you could be with your date on this Valentine's Day, unless you're watching this on your date on Valentine's Day. But
you definitely picked a bad time to have a podcast on Valentine's Day while there's something with NBA going on.
You know, the thing is, here's the thing. Valentine's Day, I guess, is every time I talk about Valentine's Day with any female or anybody, everybody, they give me the stink eye. Like, they don't care for Valentine's Day. I think there's a lot more people who don't like Valentine's Day than there are people who actually enjoy Valentine's Day.
It's so pointless. you could be doing this any other day, but you have to wait today to do it.
On 30.
You said what?
Who?
But anyway, thank you for watching. It's very appreciative. You know, obviously I'm not doing anything as I said. Eating some Jolly Ranchers and talking with a few good friends. But now there's this thing I'm so confused. E-Rock, what is this thing going on about Sega?
Well, the big discussion is, you know, Sega. For those who don't know, Sega is a storied company. We're wondering if someone should come in and rescue Sega. The last time I checked, Sega was bought by a company called Sammy, and they've done absolutely nothing with Sega. They've done nothing with Sega's mascots and franchises except loan them to Nintendo for games. I mean, you've got storied franchises over there like Shenmue. You've got storied franchises over there like Sonic the Hedgehog. And we're wondering, should somebody, anybody, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, should somebody with some influence come in and buy Sega and save that company from themselves? Because it's almost sad to see Sega, what they've become, knowing what they were. So that's the question. Who should buy Sega at this point?
Well, whoever does it, don't put out another Sonic.
I think Nintendo has the most money out of I think anybody to do it.
Yeah, I think if anyone should do it, I think Nintendo should do it, and then Super Smash Bros. Just got so much funner.
But not even that. I think Sega might just continue to loan their games out though, because they're making money off of them. But it's just the franchises that they have are just so good, but nobody wants to make them.
Yeah, I wouldn't even buy this. I wouldn't even buy Sega. I'd just take some the IPs, not even all of them. I'd just pick whichever IP I want and leave it to the developers. Like if I was Microsoft or something like that, and they got like a lot of like background studios coming up who have no games that they're actually working on, and I would take like some of those IPs and just give them, to them. Or Nintendo, but Nintendo I think would do a better job with them because they've worked with Nintendo a lot over the past couple years with their games. And so I think obviously Nintendo would be the obvious option, but
let's not give Nintendo nothing. They had their shot.
Yeah, but you can think about it. Think about it though. Nintendo, remember, don't have a lot of third-party support. Even though if they acquire Sega or any of their IPs, it obviously wouldn't be third-party anymore. But it does add to their outstanding roster. We all know, like Nintendo has like the best roster when it comes to games. You know what I mean?
I've gotten to the point where I truly believe that Nintendo really just like they're in the console business to be in the console business because that's where they started from. But I honestly don't think they care about the console business because they do one thing after another to preach to me. There is no reason why Majora's Mask is not on the Wii U too. I mean, the Wii U is nothing but a giant 3DS. Not a 3DS, but a giant DS. Why isn't it not over here too?
I feel like the games that everybody wants, they just don't want to give them to us. And
I mean, all they would have to do is release the stuff everyone wants, like the Majora's Mask. Everyone wants that, but they give it to the platform that they own that's doing the best instead of the platform that's doing the worst. And then we look at stuff like Super Smash Bros. Where they released Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS like, a month before it came out for the Wii U? And like one would think, if these people want Super Smash Bros. That bad that has 3DS, make them buy a Wii U. I understand that's a big install base, but they need a bigger install base on the Wii U than the 3DS right now. Because they got plenty of people with the 3DS.
Yeah, I mean, and then to get back to the conversation where people said like they're not making the games that people actually want, and this is what I don't understand. Like the people that are behind these games are how much are they really listening to like the fans? How many times somebody's gonna ask for Shenmue? How many times somebody's gonna ask for another another Perfect Dark or another Banjo or something like that. Um, I can't stand where certain games just like, how do you not make it? Especially when companies are struggling or their games are on, like the deep end. They're not selling. They're like studios aren't pushing out games that are selling. Why not go back to the ones people actually bought?
Square Enix did it. Take advice from them. Look how well they're selling.
The Square Enix, man, need to give up. I'm lost on freaking Final Fantasies.
Oh,
Like,
dude, I ain't talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but
Final Fantasy 15 gonna be the shit.
Yeah, that looks
there's a
awesome.
Final Fantasy
No,
15.
I can't get down. I cannot get down on a Final Fantasy with the main character driving the Bentley. Point blank, it's over.
Man, Final Fantasy 15 looks like, especially the fighting mechanics and how that shit look. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
It looks really good.
Wait.
My thing
And they
is,
got a lot of makeup too, because that game was supposed to come out like that's supposed to be the flagship PS3 title, and it never came. So they better get right.
I think the biggest thing that's happening right now, and I do hope Final Fantasy is a success. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, but for some reason, I'm thinking back to 13, and everyone's like, "Look at them graphics! The gameplay was awesome." And then the gameplay comes out, and they're like, "This game sucks."
I never understood the point of like all the Final Fantasy sequels.
Well,
I was totally lost on that. Why necessary it was.
They should have stopped numbering Final Fantasy years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they would have had Final Fantasy 15 a long time ago had they just followed numerically. You know what I mean? Why did all like Final Fantasy like 7 and Final Fantasy like 10 or whatever ones that came out need sequels? Like,
none of the Final Fantasies have anything to do with each other besides the actual sequels to the Final Fantasy games. And people, like, all they see is Final Fantasy 15. They're like, this series needs to die. And like that's why Halo 5 is being named Halo Guardians. We do need to get away from numbering games like that. If you're gonna keep your game around, stop putting a number beside it, putting it on the shelves.
I kind of think that's why Sony been changing it up, like the Second Son instead of like Infamous 3 or Infamous 4 or whatever. And which one was it? Killzone. Instead of it being Killzone 4, it was like Killzone Shadowfall. They didn't number it.
None of the Final Fantasy of the immediate numbers have anything to do with each other. They can name every single Final Fantasy something else besides Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9. And what's funny is they don't even have their own identity because they keep numbering them like that. You have to know the characters in the game.
13 was horrible, man. Nobody liked Lightning, but they kept making the games, bro.
No, they milked the hell out of her.
Oh, and I don't want to hear anyone ever say that Cloud's the most overrated character in Final Fantasy history when he didn't get 2 games.
Cloud was that dude.
Lightning is the most overrated Final Fantasy character in history, and I will stand by that.
Nobody likes Lightning. Nobody.
Apparently, someone likes Lightning because they keep making those games.
Man, nobody liked that damn character, man. They need to let Lightning die.
No more than I like Lightning.
But if I was Microsoft or even Nintendo won't do this because, Nintendo, Sega was Nintendo's. Getting back to the Sega thing, Sega was Nintendo's biggest rival for the longest. So I'm sure Nintendo would love to. They're enjoying seeing Sega where they're at right now. But if I was Microsoft or Sony's not going to do it. Microsoft's in the position to do it. You buy Sega, you're going to get Sega at almost fire sale prices. You buy it because of the name, and you buy it because I want to see another Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter 5 is still one of the best fighting games out there, and it came out in 2007. You want to get Sonic, even though they drug Sonic through the mud. You want to get a hold of Sonic so nobody else can use it. You want to get a hold of Shenmue so nobody else can use it. You want to get a hold of Jet Set Radio and Space Channel 5 so nobody else can use it. And if you do nothing with it, like Microsoft, they're still sitting on Banjo-Kazooie. They're still sitting on Perfect Dark. The whole reason why you buy these companies and you assimilate these assets is so nobody else can use them. And when the time
Very,
comes,
very, very true.
when the time comes, hey, you know what? Let's bring back Virtual Fighter 6 and make it badass for this generation. Bam, you got that locked.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
you
There's
don't.
nothing like that 12-year sequel, because then people are like, this was not like I remember it.
But you
Yes.
know what? That's the same thing that Activision is doing with Crash Bandicoot. You know, they've been holding on to
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot for a long, and they haven't done nothing with it.
Yep.
But the thing about that is, you can't hold on it for too long because, like, your what you call that shit? It runs out eventually. Like, if
Yeah.
Activision doesn't do anything with Crash Bandicoot, I think in the next 2 to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, it'll go back up and somebody else can buy it because it's just been sitting there dormant.
Isn't Sega a Japanese company?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So I
I
don't
thought
think
there was some
Microsoft
kind of
would be able to get it.
I thought there was some kind of precaution stopping a foreign company from buying a Japanese company.
Anything dealing with like Japanese, they do not want other people owning their shit. Just like people was talking about Capcom, they will. I'll say this once, I'll say it again. They will never get an American company will never buy a Japanese company, not like outright, not like that. You might get IPs from them, but actually owning their company, nah.
Well, I thought it was funny is people were talking about Capcom being bought by Microsoft, and they're like, oh, we're gonna have Street Fighter and Killer on the same console, exclusive, and then like 5-6 months later, oh yeah, Street Fighter 5 is PS4 exclusive.
With that
Yeah.
I've got a bone to pick with that because I was seeing a long time ago, not just me, but a lot of other people out there on YouTube, other YouTube channels, other YouTube personalities, people who are like-minded. We were seeing a long time ago. I love Microsoft and I love the Xbox brand, but one of the things that bugs me about them is that they will not use their number one asset. What is Microsoft's number one asset? As we found out with their purchase of Mahjong and Minecraft, their money. They've got the biggest pockets on the playground. If they had bought Capcom, Microsoft, you could have cut Sony's throat. Maybe not Nintendo, because we've seen Nintendo can exist in their own bubble.
I don't think Nintendo would have cared.
But
nah, Nintendo got so much money, man. They don't care, bro.
But if you buy Capcom, you basically corner the video game market. I mean, what's over there on Capcom? Bomberman,
Everything.
you name it, it's over there. I mean,
I'm not in that business aspect. I would assume a corporation like Microsoft could find some loophole or something if they absolutely wanted it. But you know, I do agree. I think if Capcom would have been a good logical, but who knows? There could have been some kind of conditions that no one knows about. I mean, for all we know, Microsoft could have talked to them and Capcom wanted some outrageous number and they couldn't get their partners to agree to it.
Yeah, because from what my friends at Sony have been telling me, I got a couple people I know that work over there, is that like with Street Fighter, it would have took them at least, I think, like maybe 4 or 5 years to even get the game out, and it should be coming out maybe next year, maybe, because they got it in playable form already, and it's gonna be at Evo, I think, this year too, playable. So without Sony's help, it would have took them a long ass time to bring another Street Fighter, and no telling how many of their other games have been in development like that. What Resident Evil Revelations 2's coming, and I think they got Capcom's got Dragon's Dogma Online, which I think is gonna do pretty good. So yeah.
You bring up a good point, you know, because that was the same situation with Dead Rising 3. That was a game that would have they were going to struggle to get out, you know, had they not have like anybody behind it. And you know, obviously Microsoft jumped on it, and that wasn't the first Dead Rising they jumped on. Obviously they had Dead Rising 1 to come out first on the Xbox 360, and I think Dead Rising 2 was multi-plat before the Dead Rising 3 became like Xbox One exclusive.
What I think's funny is, I mean, obviously Capcom's not jumping on a sequel for anything, because they even said themselves, unless it sells 2 million copies or more, they won't look at it as much. I don't think necessarily they won't make one, but they said if it doesn't make 2 million copies or more, I think if it doesn't, they won't look at it as much. But I do think they would make one still if things got better.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they're doing the whole kind of free-to-play model as well. They're like, it's like they're spreading it out some. They got like a couple third-party games. Then they got some first-party titles that are given to other publishers to do, and then they got the free-to-play joints, and then they got the online, like the Dragon Dogma Online, and then I think they got a couple of games to mobile. Like they're trying to spread themselves thin to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, Capcom's making plenty of things. They're leaving it to.
And then what is not Final Fantasy? Shit, what's the name of that? Realm Reborn. They made a lot of money. That and Monster Hunter is really what's keeping Capcom alive. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't know
Realm Reborn did way better than they thought it was gonna do.
I didn't know Monster Hunters came out for anything besides Nintendo products. Like, no, it came out for PS2. I'm like, really?
Yeah, it just recently like started becoming like huge, like very, very huge on Nintendo products like that. Like I got Monster Hunter on my Vita. It's not like the newer Monster Hunters, but you know what I'm saying, it's a Monster Hunter game. But like Monster Hunter 4, I think, Ultimate. They come out in Japan way before they come out over here, and that shit is killing it over there in Japan. Like
yeah, they got that region lock shit for like years.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it's the same with a couple of games. Just like everybody's been hyping up Persona. Hopefully, it's worldwide, but like Persona, normally the West don't get it till like maybe 6 months after Japan gets it. So say if Persona comes out this year, say maybe March or April, shit, we may never see it till next year.
Yeah, they've been that way with almost anything that they do. They do that with anime. They do that with just about everything.
Yep, pretty much. Like Attack on Titan, we won't see that shit till next year.
Yeah, they don't pursue people to do their shit. They let people pursue them. Like, so they don't look. They get better deals.
Yeah, but
they know the Western market wants their games, so let's let someone else come to them and let them make the port.
yeah, so we, but the thing is now, do any of you guys think Sega will actually even sell though?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm right with you guys. I don't think
they're just continue to lease out their games. I think that's what they're going to continue to do.
There's a difference between looking desperate and being desperate.
Yeah.
But you know the thing is, you know, I've been following Sega a long time, as have a lot of you, and you know a lot of you guys are in your 20s. But if you remember where Sega came from, Sega's taken some huge hits. Nobody ever imagined that they would see Sega on their knees right now. Nobody ever imagined that this would happen. Actually, the death blow was dealt back in 2000 when Bernie Stolar, the president of Sega, they admitted defeat with the Dreamcast. That was the beginning of the end. Even though the Dreamcast games were still selling over in Japan, Dreamcast was dead over here in the United States, because that's what the market is, the United States and Europe. So if Sega, whoever's in charge over Sega or Sammy, you know, I think it's fiscally irresponsible of you to let that brand die and not seek out help or sell to somebody who can resurrect those franchises and keep the name alive. At least keep the name alive. You understand what I'm saying? Just don't sit here and watch the company.
Don't let an iconic name go away from pride.
It's actually kind of sad to be honest with you, because I mean we all had Dreamcast and we all had Sega Genesis, and to see that company just erode because of, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's arrogance.
I wasn't even a Dreamcast fan, man. I
What's
wasn't
that?
even a Dreamcast fan. I said I wasn't even a Dreamcast fan like that. The Sega Genesis was my first console.
Right.
Even though my brother had a Nintendo and all that, but Sega Genesis was my shit, like my very first my own console. So
Sega Genesis has a huge saying of how the gaming industry turned out the way it is.
Yeah, man. But that's just the same thing with Capcom. Like Capcom has been like literally dying for a long time. And maybe, just maybe, they're finally starting to get it that some of these gamers are not going to buy your games if they're shitty.
There you go.
Because I think
I think in the gaming industry, there's a certain point where you can get away with shit, but once you're a company, it goes by game and then developers, and then once it's hit that company, it's pretty much game. You make a game, you're like, well, that game sucks, but after enough of them, you're like, well, that developer sucks, and then after that, then they're hurt.
You know what I want to happen? I want developers to go a year without putting out a sequel. Go a year and try new IPs, new types of. I just want to see, give themselves a chance, make that risk, and see what you can create. I want just
but
1 year.
But we also, as a community, we gotta buy them too.
Thank you.
Yeah, but if you give us no
these
choice,
new IPs aren't selling like they're supposed to. Like Sunset Overdrive, it should have sold a lot more.
Exactly.
It should have sold.
I'm disappointed in my fellow Xbox for not buying it like you should have. I bought it. I beat it, and I'm still playing it.
Hey,
shout out to me.
Xbox community. This is your boy E-Rock8150. You know I love you. I'm a huge Xbox guy. I'm a huge Xbox community supporter. But a lot of you Xbox owners and you 360 owners, you guys are frauds. I want to say the F word, but this is a PG broadcast. You guys are frauds. Do you know why? Because Microsoft went out on a limb and got a storied developer, Insomniac Games, to make one of the best games of 2014. Guys, if you're not talking, do me a favor, mute your mics. Guys, they made one of the best games of 2014, and you didn't go out and buy it. Well, I don't like new things. I didn't like hopping around on rails. I had to run around and duck and keep moving too much. I had to keep moving or else I'd get killed. That was the whole point of the game. So instead of buying Sunset Overdrive, you went out and bought Shadow of Mordor or another Call of Duty or whatever other crap was on the store shelves, and that was your prerogative. But you are the reason why these video game developers are not going to do what Kid Smooth just said and take a chance, because there's no telling how much money Insomniac Games lost on Sunset Overdrive. Unless Microsoft probably covered the cost because they got deep pockets, like you know, they got deep pockets like that. But I mean, a lot of these developers are scared after seeing what happened last generation when we had almost 12 development studios go broke and close down. You gamers are part of the problem. When these new IPs come out,
gamers don't know what they want, man. I hate to say it, man.
Like you Sony fans, you need to go out in droves and buy the Order 1886. You need to do that. You need to do that, or stop talking, stop being on these boards. Just
I got mine reserved.
There you go.
I reserved mine today. I went ahead and bought mine. Like, and you're right. That's just like last generation with Sony. A lot of the people didn't go buy the games. Like
My thing
is the kills, because Sony had a lot of first party titles last year, but then we go out in droves and buy them.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is,
but this generation, I'm a little proud of my guys, because I think every single Sony exclusive that was made by a Sony exclusive, whatchamacallit?
First party studio.
Yeah, first party studio actually hit a mill. Every one of them. Like, I think Infamous is a mill, Killzone a mill. Even Knack a mill.
Yeah, Knack. How did Knack sell a mill?
Hey, I like Knack, man. But
yeah, I played Knack at GameStop, and that was enough for me to know that once I get my PS4, I'm buying Knack.
Yo, Knack was fun, though.
Yeah, I tried to buy it yesterday. Because it was on sale for $10, but the PlayStation Store kept like loading, and I was like, forget it, man. I got time to wait for this. So I'm gonna try again tonight.
Knack, and then the thing about the thing that really pushed me towards Knack was like, it's hard. Like, if you think you're going to beat that game in, like, 10 minutes, nah, bro. You're going to die. Like, I guarantee if you play that game on hard, you will die at least 100 times.
Like anybody that's friended me, anybody that's friended me on Xbox Live, you know, on Xbox Live, you can go and check out our profiles and see each other's games. You can actually see the entire history of every game we bought. So I walk the walk. I buy the Xbox exclusives. And you can tell.
I do as well. I do as well. Except for, like, I didn't buy Guilty Gear because I'm not a fighting game person like that.
I buy games that interest me. Like I'm not saying that Sunset Overdrive didn't interest me. I'm just saying that there was more games that I wanted to play at the time, and money was tight, and November was rough until October, and choices had to be made.
Very true, but I feel like when it comes to a new IP, if you want to see something different, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You can't say oh well, I'm tired of playing this same old game all the time. When there's new IPs out there, support them. Because if you don't, we're gonna get the same thing we've been getting for the last 8 years.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know, because like I said, you know what I want to do is that, like I said, I want there to be a year that they do that, even though they're not. So what I'm gonna do, probably well, no, this is a lie, because I will buy Halo 5. Well, other than Halo, in 2015, I'm not going to buy, if it's not like a games that come out every 2 years or annual. I will not buy an annual game in 2015. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna replace all my annual games with each new IP that comes out. I'm making that promise to myself.
I can't do that because I'm a 2K15 fan. So yeah.
Oh well, you know,
2K,
like
I'm getting
he says that now. But we'll have a podcast in the middle of the year, and you will have complete different tone in it.
No. We gonna revisit this. Good thing, you know, you can always go back and revisit all the videos and whatnot. But I'm like I have no reason. I was disappointed in both NBA 2K and NBA Live this year. So you know, I'm not gonna buy a 2K game until they start being more like down to earth. Like stop making you run out and buy digital sneakers. Like no. 2K is the king of like, let me rape you right quick for all you got, you know. So I'm not buying another 2K. I don't care who's on the cover. 2K got me when they put LeBron on the cover. I was like, yep, I'm getting it, and that's about it. So if LeBron's not on the cover again, I'm not getting it. That's the only way you could buy. I'll buy a 2K game.
Now you ain't getting it even if LeBron's on the cover. No annual games for you, my friend.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no annual games. I won't buy the next Call of Duty. I won't buy. No, I won't. I don't feel like, I thought this Call of Duty would make me turn the corner. Like, no, I like Call of Duty again, but I'm not buying Call of Duty next year, no matter who makes it.
I mean, Treyarch is making it, so I gotta get it because I'm a Treyarch fan. I don't like Infinity War.
You know what's crazy
and then
though?
Black Ops was my first Call of Duty, so.
You know what's crazy? Treyarch. I actually wasn't. All right, I'm not a big fan of Treyarch's games, and my favorite Call of Duties were actually the ones I think were the ones before they went modern. Those were my favorite ones. I think I could do Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I like that one because it was something new. It's like, oh my god, this is like, it's Call of Duty and like now, and it's good. It's fast paced. It bumps, and then after that, it kind of really tapered off after that. But and so that's why like my favorite Call of Duties are the ones that took place during the World War II era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back when like, because when Call of Duty came out, when it was that game, the other game that used to be a beast, Medal of Honor, that started to die out, and then Call of Duty came in and took its place. Man, it felt so bad for it. And then they tried to come out with Medal of Honor again, never been the same. But yeah, no more annual games for me.
And let's not even get on Madden. Let's not get on that subject.
Madden. The only way Madden can get me to buy Madden again if they put Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski or Julian Edelman on the cover, and I'll buy it. If not, I'm not going to buy it. I have no need to buy another Madden.
The thing about annual games and new IPs is, regardless how you say it, I mean, you guys could tell me all day, and I do agree with you to a certain point. But it's like games. If games like Sunset Overdrive don't really appeal to me, I'm not going to go buy it just for the game, $50, and me not play much. Like that's useless to me. Might help them out, but it's not helping me out. Like, there's new IPs that I'm willing to try. Like, I mean, I've been playing Escapist, and that's an indie game. And I put more hours into Escapist than I put probably any AAA title this year and last year. And like Evolve. Evolve's a new IP that I enjoy playing. I mean, I don't really believe that you should go buy a AAA, even exclusive, just because to support something. You might support it, but I don't see going out and blindly spending money on a game that you might not play.
I mean, I don't feel you have to buy it day one. I'm just saying that I hate the people who say they want something new, but always go back to what's comfortable. There's a lot of people who continuously do that. They go back to what's comfortable and what's good to them at the moment instead of trying something different. And it's your preference too. If a game really doesn't suit your preferences, that's totally fine. But I just feel like if people would broaden their horizons a little bit and maybe try it, you don't have to try it day one. Maybe wait till the price goes down and then try it.
When Sunset lost me is when I found out you couldn't do co-op campaign. That's when Sunset lost me, because there's a bunch of games coming out that was multiplayer, and sure, you did have the chaos mode, but I wanted that co-op campaign too.
Okay, and just to retract on what I said earlier, when I said I won't buy any.
Look at that, 5 minutes already.
No. Listen. Let me finish. I said I won't buy any annual games. When I say I won't buy them, I didn't mean that I wouldn't play them. I'm just not going and spending my money on them. Now, if someone happened to bring it over, or if I'm playing it, I didn't buy it. I won't support an annual game. Like, buy it. I'll play it, but I won't buy it.
I'm gonna expose.
That's all I got. That's all I got to say. Oh, any thoughts on Quantum Break possibly coming out in June? Is that
That'd
a
be dope.
possibility?
It depends on when it comes in June, because you know what comes out in June, right?
Mortal Kombat?
No, Mortal Kombat is in April. Batman.
Oh, Batman.
Batman comes out the same week as my birthday. Yes, I am not. That's gonna be my birthday gift to myself.
I love Batman, but I'll buy Quantum Break before I buy Batman.
I'm with you, Rock.
Bro, I'm buying Batman because the original people who made Batman are making that. They didn't make it and you don't see Batman every 2 years. I mean, like every year either. Like I don't even. When did the last like the one that Rocksteady made? That came out in what, 2012?
I'll give it. I'll give it to Quantum Break. It does look pretty good because we've seen a little bit of gameplay on it. But what kills me the most is like people hyping up games we literally like know nothing about, like Scalebound. We know like little to nothing about that game, and I hear people say that's like the most hyped game I have. I'm like, we almost know nothing about this game. Why are you hyping this game up?
Because it looks cool.
But
you don't know what it looks like. Man. You should have put gameplay.
We've seen.
Well, Sony used to do that to you guys all the time. That ain't stopped nobody.
I didn't get a PS3 till 09, so they ain't did nothing to me.
That's my thing, though. I feel like Scalebound's gonna get hype before. Okay, it's already gotten this much hype. Imagine what's gonna happen when we see something at E3. And then it's going to get worse, and I feel like it's going to be another one of those where the game doesn't meet the hype. And I hope it doesn't happen, but the way it's looking like something like that's going to happen.
All right, so but it is getting kind of late. It's already 11 o'clock. We about to shut this down. I'm not doing the trivia today. I'm trying to work on another way to do it, but I'm not giving up. I like giving away people, ways to win some PlayStation and Xbox money. That's always cool. But I will be bringing that back soon. But I do want to remind everybody who's watching, please tune in next Saturday. LTG podcast will be joined by Abby Heppy, the community manager of Respawn. She's also the voice actor for the militia person in Titanfall, the girl that says, all right, Titan ready to drop in 50 seconds or something like that. So Abby Heppy will be joining us, and we're going to be talking about some Titanfall. It should be a great show. I'm actually going to have her take part in the trivia game and see how many questions she can answer correct.
Well, so she's gonna beat all of you guys.
So please mark that on your calendars. That's going to be Saturday, February 21st. At 9 p.m. Take a break from the Order 1886. I'm pretty sure you'll have it completed by the time we do the podcast. No pun intended. But
Yeah.
When's that game come out?
It comes out Friday the 20th.
When is that podcast?
The podcast is Saturday the 21st.
Oh, come on, dude. You can't give them a day and they already have their whole game finished. That's reaching.
Yeah, guys. This is your boy E-Rock8150. This is our biggest developer interview yet. We are sadly the smaller YouTube channel, but support us because our interviews, we do a lot of work, and we're actually going to be asking Abby Heppy your questions. These are questions from the community. So, I mean, this is going to be a great show, guys. So, tune in next week, man. It's Saturday night, February 21st. It's going to be can't miss journalism. We do journalism over here. You're going to enjoy it. Right, kid?
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. The interviews are always fun. And like I said, it's going to be, so far, me and E-Rock, we're going to be there Saturday, February 21st, 9 p.m. Abby Heppy, Titanfall, Respawn. That's all you need to know. But before I shut this thing down, I want to get everybody to get their closings out. And we're going to start with the person that's been the quietest for the last, for like 20 minutes, Rise and Grind. Wake up.
I don't know if y'all can hear me, though. I had to take my headphones out because I was saying a lot of shit. I don't think anybody hear me, so I had to take my headphones out. But, yeah, shout out to everybody. We Game Here. Don't forget to go visit the WeGameHere.com if y'all listening to this. And shout out to my boy, Mr. T-Tech, King Dre, my man's Darian This, King, Big Kahuna, all the good, people I roll with.
All right, Gaming Addict.
Check out my channel, Gaming Addict. I do reviews, I do just about anything, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. You got anyone watching this should try to escape this game. It's a good game, but thanks for watching. It's Kid Smooth Holiday.
And Mona Lisa.
Hey. I guess check out my page, Pretty Face in the Gamer's Place on Facebook. Or Team Boob Crush. Nothing dealing with boobs, it's just a joke. Yeah.
And then Crunk.
What's going on, everybody? Shouts out to shitattack.com, or y'all go to that website, go check us out. Support us, all-female website. Also go to my YouTube, Crunk Girls 711, and talk about all types of games. I usually do a lot of vlogs. I rarely put up game footage, but I'm getting better at doing that. So check out my YouTube. I think I'm at almost 2,500 subscribers almost. Also check out like you said, We Game Here. Shouts out to my boy Yo Sahop over there. And I guess that's about it, man. Just check me out.
And E-Rock.
Oh yeah, and
Yo,
thanks for having me on here too.
Oh, anytime.
Yeah, this is your boy E-Rock8150 saying, guys, thanks for joining us again on Valentine's Day. We know it's late. You can always check us out on Facebook at Just Watch, Play, and Listen. It's the official Facebook page of the Let's Talk Games podcast. Check us out and give us a like.
And you guys, as I always say, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, ask Kid Smooth. Ask me anything. And as I always close this out with, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We're out.
Man, we all know play